positivity, motivation, never settle for average. You know how we do it over here? I dropped a video the other day about the lies we were taught and how they've been perpetuated. The moon landing, the scarcity of oil, religion, just a bunch of different things. And you know what's crazy is, like, when you share with somebody something that debunks what they've been conditioned to believe, they rebuke you. They get angry. It's almost like they have a shutdown switch, you know, that keeps them from absorbing or computing any new information that contradicts what they've been programmed. It's like trying to run a diesel truck on gasoline. It's pretty amazing. I see so many people stuck in a certain way of thinking. And for myself, I'm always a student and try to learn as I go and not think I know everything. But I've talked to so many people and they stopped learning. They reached a certain point and they feel like if I haven't heard it by now, then it doesn't exist. And that's an ingenious concept, to get somebody to believe that when they reach a certain age, they're a know-it-all and they can't be taught anything. Man, that sure keeps the poor people poor. And I'm not saying just poor financially, I'm talking about poor mentally. These people, they don't want to read anything beyond the books they've been conditioned to read. If you tell them anything that contradicts their religious beliefs, they get angry. If you show them things that punch holes in history, they don't want to hear about it. If you point out financial things, they look at you crazy. This is almost like a wiring condition, a mental wiring condition, you know, where they've wired the DNA in a certain construct of human being to where it's set and it will not entertain anything other than what it's been set to do. It's not adjustable. It's not able to maneuver out of its conditioned programming. Perfect example. Demographically, you have, you know, what's considered the really wealthy. You have those who are well off. You have those who are, you know, upper middle class, you know, middle class, surviving, and then the lower class, right? And certain financial literacy elements that you try to introduce to those in the lower class, it will not make sense to them because of their conditioning and what they've been taught as far as looking at money, and money being scarcity, money being from hand to spend. Money is just something you get and it pays a bill and that's it. They don't understand money as energy. As you realize money is energy and it flows just like water, you could have a dam that blocks water and water will find a way around that dam. It's the same thing with money. But if you don't understand that, and your concept of money is to labor for money and toil for money, and that money is evil, if you have a lot of it, you had to do something that's not right to get it. You don't like money because it's legal tender. You don't like negotiable instruments. You have a certain kind of feeling about people with a lot of money. You'll never have money. You have a bad relationship already with the universe and money. And that's taught. You're taught just to have enough money to pay your bills and get by to the next day. That's the program they set for 99% of the people. Is you always can make your bills, but never have any excess. Now, when you start talking to people who have excess money, people who don't look at money as something used to pay bills, they look at money as something that creates more money. They don't look at money as a shortage. They look at money as an endless stream that you can constantly drink out of. It's a continuous flow. It's a different mindset. You're looking to create other opportunities so that more money comes. You're not fearful of not having money. You don't dislike money. You're not obsessed with money, but you know that money is a resource. Money allows you to help others, help yourself, create opportunity. I've always felt like the things that were taught to the mainstream were taught to the mainstream for a reason. Whether it be control, whether it be complacency, whether it be a way to separate those from the haves and make sure they don't have the opportunity to cross over. Because if you've ever socialized in different energy circles and you study people's behavior, the way people talk, people's body language, you can tell somebody who's worked for their money and how they take pride in certain things, and people who have just purchased things and they don't really have a lot of invested interest, but they have what they want to show off as signs of their wealth. And then you look at how those people look at people who they think are people who are workers, and somewhat of a disdain. My thing is, if you want to elevate yourself, you want to learn the truth, you want to get past all the bullshit, you're going to have to challenge your comfort zone, and you're going to have to put yourself in some situations where the people may not be people you feel like you want to associate with or hang out with, but you're there to gather your intel. You're there to observe. You're there to elevate your game. And if you're able to do that, you will see that a lot of what you've been taught in the book or what you've been taught by your previous family members was all bullshit. There's a lot of things in life you're not going to learn in the book. And if they put it in the book or they promoted in a certain community, it's there to keep you there for a reason. That's why they have gated communities. That's why they have country clubs. That's why they have these exclusive vacation resorts. And they price people out. They price you out because they don't want you socializing with certain individuals that could change your perspective. It's not for everybody, not everybody really wants to elevate themselves financially. And like I said, if you have a bad relationship with money, you don't like money, but then you sit around and you watch these athletes, you watch these politicians, you look at all these other people, you're using their apps, you're making them rich as shit, and you don't like money. Money is not the evil. Money is a resource. It's a tool. It's no different than having a drill, a hammer, or a dump truck. You create wealth with money, and it allows you opportunities to do things that you may not have been able to do before you had the money. The craziest is when I see people in certain religious denominations giving a big chunk of their money to a church who have billion-dollar endowments, and these people are just living month to month. That game right there is a hell of a game. Or I see somebody, they missed their rent, but they got on Gucci flip-flops and a Gucci bag. That's a hell of a game. The richest man in the world right now is rich off of garments. Hermes, Yves Saint Laurent. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he's rich off of people's desire to own things that make them feel rich. Just think about it. You drive by some of these places of worship, and then you think about where these people live at. And most of those people, they can't even leave their family enough money to bury them when they pass away. But yet, if you try to share an entrepreneurial concept with these people, they don't even want no part of it because they're conditioned just to work and get a check. That's all some people are capable of doing, is working for somebody else and getting a check. If they don't see something that with their own eyes has been tangibly touched, they do not understand a vision or something that you're creating in the third dimension. They don't understand that. Until it comes from the third dimension, or actually the fourth dimension to this dimension, it's not possible. They will tell you that, oh, well, how's that going? How does that work? Or what if it doesn't work? They're very pessimistic. And in this video, finding the truth of just, about money and about elevation of wealth and understanding the universe and your relationship with money, that in itself is so powerful. But it's not a conversation most of the families have in this world. Especially the people I talk to, they don't want to talk about it. Their whole thing is getting a good job. The wealth I've seen through the people I've met by stepping out of my comfort zone, most of those people are second, third generation. A lot of them trades or commercial industries. You know, unless somebody got into like medicine and, you know, and developed a medicine that they got a patent for, or engineered something that changed the way we do, you know, mechanics, or somebody invented something that had to do with, like, you know, the computer industry. But when you talk about people with wealth, welding, fabrication, machinery, you know, people who, you know, they worked and maybe only had barely a high school education, and the only reason they send their kids to college is to run the business. Otherwise, if you don't have a family business you're going to step into, and you're going to college and you're putting yourself in debt to go work for somebody else, unless you get to college and you get into a social group and you guys branch off and create something in one of these think tanks. There are people who do that. There are people who develop relationships in college that see it as an opportunity to network. But the real wealth is not chasing money. It's creating relationships, building bonds with people of mutual interest, and finding friends that you can share your dreams and your vision with. I'm still on my journey, looking for friends and people I can grow with. I've always been what's considered a black sheep because I've always thought out the box, and I didn't follow traditional protocol. Go, you know, get a good job, and you know, just go to college, and or you know, join the military. I've always been someone who thought out the box. So let me tell you a little something. Entrepreneurial wise, when I was in elementary, probably elementary school, you know, my thing was, okay, if I can utilize a little bit of my allowance money and buy candy, I can resell it. That was probably my first hustle. Then buying and trading baseball cards. I didn't know how to really flip them because there wasn't no auction market or anything like that, but you know, buying and trading baseball cards and trying to work deals where I can get 2 cards for 1. Now, fast forward from grade school to like probably junior high school, finding bike parts, you know, repurposing bike frames and you know, putting together bikes to sell, making them look real cool, painting them and throwing different cranks and pedals and maybe Skyway mags, maybe Ace rims, or you know, different things to like sell bikes. You know, maybe put together a cool skateboard to flip. And then I'm like, you know what? Video games. Back then we had in television, Atari, Coleco. I wrote in television, Atari, and Coleco. I wrote them with an idea. Before I even knew what it was to code, I drew pictures of a video game and the concept of the game and the different levels that I thought somebody or you know, people would be interested in playing. I drew it all on paper. I used to do a lot of drawing. I still do a lot of drawing, but I drew it all on paper. And I had a stack of different, I used to sit in my room, and that's what I did. I would try to figure out the game, the layout, and the different stages. And I wrote them and, you know, tried to see if I could sell them my video game concept. I was a kid looking at the side of the box, and I would write them off the box of the video game console. Was no internet, you know, you couldn't find these people in the yellow pages. There was no way of really searching smartphones and nothing like that. This is what I tried, man, before I got into anything criminal. So I tried the video games. After that, I looked in the East Bay catalog, and I used to look at all these shoes. East Bay was back in the day when you played, sports in school and you would order shoes and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, I could design some shoes. So I actually designed some shoes and I wrote Nike. I wrote Nike and said, I have an idea for a shoe. And they sent me back NDA, and I sent them the shoe design, and got turned down. But I did try to come out with my own shoes, and then I designed some shoes, with my own brand, and I thought maybe one day I'll come out with my own shoes. But I was really into shoes and sports and basketball, so yeah, that was one of my attempts to come out with my own shoes. And I actually came out with my own brand called Fidu when I was 16. This was way before FUBU. Fidu, for everyday use. And I have a business license. I got my first business license when I was 16. I used to go to warehouses in Huntington Beach with my business partner and pick out t-shirts, and we had to drive over there, and then you had to drive this other place to try to find a silk screen printer or somebody who did embroidery. These are all the things I tried with no mentor. Nobody taught me anything about clothing or fashion. This is how creative and out the box I was, and how I knew I was different from my immediate family, because nobody taught me any of this, and nobody in my family was into fashion, design, coding. Nobody was an entrepreneur like that. But these are the things that I tried. And then I tried selling drugs. Got caught up in robberies. And I realized that was my frustration and bad choices. But I accept all accountability for my actions, because I knew better, but I was so hungry for success. There's nothing worse than, seeing something you want or wanting to be special through having, access to certain things that you can acquire with money, and not being able to do it. And wondering why. But the answer is not working more hours for a certain dollar amount. It's something bigger than that. And I always knew it was something bigger, and I know you guys know it's something bigger. So, getting back to why I say finding the truth, the first thing that's going to free you up in life is finding the truth about wealth, about money, and how it relates to being a resource. And don't underestimate your ability to network and surround yourself with bigger and better energy circles, people that support you, people that have been there, because a lot of what you will learn that's going to change your life is going to come from somebody other life experience, somebody else's life experience. And I can guarantee you it's not in the book. It's not on Google. It's not these guys, hey, you buy my book, I'll show you how to make $100,000 in 3 months, blah, blah. It's bullshit. You got to get around a real G, man. Let somebody lace you up. Get you a good mentor. That's the main thing. And that's the point of this whole video, is I didn't have a good mentor to put me up on some real game, so I didn't bump my head doing stupid shit. Find you a good mentor. Find somebody who's going to give you the truth about financial literacy, about putting your money plan together. And if you have a hate relationship with money and you think everybody with money is evil, then you're never going to have it. you're never going to have it, man. I'm just going to be 100 with you. And, I'm not saying that you got to compromise yourself, sell your ass. You don't have to, do stupid shit to get it. What I'm saying is taking care of your family, providing for your children, having shelter, and being able to have the freedom so that you can sit back during the day and not have to toil. That's the pinnacle of life. Your time. They meaning the big companies, they want your time. If you had the time to sit back and hang out with your kids at the beach, going on hikes or taking trips and meditating, do you know how much more elevated you could be consciously? I'm not saying having a bunch of money to go buy a bunch of material shit. I'm saying money so you can have the freedom to consciously elevate yourself to see what else you can create. That's what it's all about. It's not 10 Gucci bags or Hermes bag or Louis shoes or, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you like nice things and, cool, but I'm saying the freedom to express yourself at the highest level, which means reflecting and elevating your conscious and not letting somebody else trick you into you working to give them all your fruits, because that's the game. I never understood, like I said, I these people who say, hey, give me this, give me that, and they pull off and they're in a Rolls Royce or they got a private jet. Man, I'm shit. I'm good. I'll stay on my journey. I'll network and find me a mentor and put myself around somebody who's genuine, who ain't with the con man bullshit or the religious hustle. And I'm not here to be a worker bee on this planet. I'm not here to prop up these fake politicians or entertainers, any of them. I'm here to become the highest I can be, and I would assume that if you're watching this video, you're looking to do the same. So hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you choose to, go to BigHerc916.com, pick you up some merch. It's just a way for me to keep the channel going. If you purchase something, and I'm giving out positive energy, and everything else flows into positive energy. And I support those who also support helping others grow and provide positive energies, so that together we can all have the wealth and we could all enjoy the freedom of having time to sit back and meditate and reflect. That's what life's about. Life is not meant for us to be, trapped in some building working all day or slaving to sustain somebody else's wealth. I mean, if you're doing something that you love doing, for me, I can mess with cars all day. It's not slave to me. It's not slaving. I could paint, or I could, talk with people about certain subjects. But whatever you're doing, it should put a smile on your face, and you should feel great about doing it. It shouldn't be something that you dread doing. If you dread doing whatever it is you're doing, or if you get angry or you're mad because you're doing it, you're not doing the right thing in life. You're not doing what you were here to do, or whatever your calling is. And that's what you want to find out while you're here in this vessel.
Officially, I only got one real spanking my entire life. My mom did the best a 14-year-old could do, raising me with love and instilling values that will last a lifetime. I was a straight A student and lived to make her happy. So how did I go astray? A horrible stepdad that stole my self-worth and invoked fear turned me into a person that I struggled to overcome. From skateboarding to selling drugs, gang banging in juvenile hall, I got caught the same way many young promising men get caught up. I struggled to find my identity, getting mixed up in shootouts, crime, and the adult entertainment industry. This roller coaster continued as I juggled college, hustling, and Hollywood, eventually catching a federal bank robbery case. I found redemption in prison while serving a 120-month federal sentence and came out a man on a mission. I became a social media influencer with over 500 million views on YouTube and a life coach mentoring people all over the world. This is my journey.
Are you tired of smelling funky? Have you lost your ad? Go to BigHerc916.com and get to Nutsack Run.